Welcome to all of our members and visitors. It's my pleasure to introduce David Wick, who is, maybe we'll have some additional introductions. A little bit about David's background. He has lived in Ashland since 2003 and is a member of the Rotary Club of World Peace, District 5330, and is its president nominee for 21 to 22. He is co-founder and executive director of the Ashland Culture of Peace Commission, an organization that I'm proud to be affiliated with as well. And in 1980, helped launch the United Nations NGO Pathways to Peace. David was instrumental in establishing the World Peace Flame in Ashland. He has over 30 years of executive management training and organizational development consulting experience and has held important positions with Sun Microsystems, Stanford University, Levi Strauss, and the European Foundation for Management Development. He is dedicated to peace building and to the Rotary four-way test. And I'm honored to say that he's a friend of mine, and I would turn the floor over to David Wick.
Well, thank you very much, Ty. And I'm happy to be here with you all and see everyone and to join your club this morning. And thank you very much. And thank you, Chris, for his helping to say yes and set this up. And being here in Ashland, and as we all know, there's a lot of things to be grateful for in being here in Ashland. And I'm also here with co-founder of the Ashland Culture Peace Commission, Irene Tai, who is there with the lovely butterfly in her background. And Ashland does have a long history, and actually you go back to the Native Americans. Ashland has a history of being a place of peace, a place of where people would come to come together, to be together as a place of peace. And it also has, some checkered, history too, and some of the racial things, and no doubt about challenges. Along the line of establishing the Ashland Culture Peace Commission, the city had, in 2017, joined the International Cities of Peace, as well as established itself as a city of peace. And I think it's since the late 1980s, Ashland has been a member of the Mayors for Peace. It's an international organization headquartered in Japan. And so, as I become involved with Rotary, which I'm just delighted to do, become a member of the E-Club, Rotary E-Club of World Peace, and learning more about the tremendous focus Rotary has in peace and peace building, which is just growing. It's growing significantly. And learning about some of the colleagues, such as Al Jubitz, who isn't here at the moment, and as well as Mike Caruso. They came to, or Mike and some of the other folks here came to, last year we had the Global Peace Conference here in Ashland, which brought the ambassador from the United Nations. It was a significant event, but really focusing in on the peace building aspect of it and learning more about peace building in Rotary. Mike Caruso, I'll ask him to introduce himself more specifically, helped to or establish Peacebuilder clubs, which is now international. There's many, many clubs around the world, as well as here in Oregon, which is really kind of a home of Peacebuilder clubs. And so we wanted to bring the whole concept of Peacebuilder clubs to Ashland and to our two wonderful clubs, yours as well as the Noontime Club, to explore what that is to be a peace builder club and the benefits thereof. And I would say the majority or all the things that you're already doing and have done contribute to peace building and well-being in our community, which is very much a focus of Rotary. So I'm delighted for the invitation to be here. And I'd like to introduce Mike Caruso, who's really going to, give us the focus in conversation, present some information about Peacebuilder clubs, then be very open for discussion and questions. So, Mike, would you please give some background to yourself, and Al will if he shows up. Please, Mike.
Well, thank you, David. Am I coming across okay? A few weeks ago, I was on a Zoom meeting and everybody said I sounded like a chipmunk because I had the audio incorrectly set or whatever. But anyway, it's great to be here. Thank you, David, for that introduction. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Portland, went to high school at Mount Angel Seminary, prepped for the Roman Catholic priesthood, and spent a year of college in Glen Ellen, Illinois, at a Maryknoll College there for foreign missions. I finished my college education at the University of Portland and then spent 3 years in the Peace Corps in Malaysia, working in tuberculosis control, primarily with the Aboriginal population of that country. And then following that, I returned to Portland, got married, and went into the family business. Caruso Produce, wholesale fruits and vegetables, and was there for 30 years. And then towards the end of my tenure there, I was invited to a Rotary meeting by my daughter, who ended up being my sponsor to the Rotary Club of Newburgh. After the third invite, I figured something was up, and sure enough, they were on a membership drive, and figured I better look into the organization, saw that it had a history of peace building and peacemaking, so I decided to jump in, served as the club president 2005-06, and then served as district governor up here for District 5100, the same year as my classmate Chuck Root, who was on the call, served in District 5110. It was so nice to see so many familiar faces, which I wasn't expecting. Barbara Mueller, Rotary Club of World Peace, and Dennis Wong from Connecticut, also in the Rotary Club of World Peace, and Carol Fellows and Tim Bewley, who have mentored me along the way over the years. It's great to be among so many friends. So, and thank you, President Cat, for this invitation. I'd like to start a little bit by starting with how the idea of Peacebuilder clubs came about. Back in 2011, there's some initial misconceptions, original requirements that we had, and then how Peacebuilder clubs have evolved both here in District 5100 and beyond over the years. To begin with, we became a Peacebuilder club, or Peacebuilder district, in January of 2011, about 6 months before I began serving as district governor. And a district, as you probably know, becomes a Peacebuilder district when that district's leadership commits to contributing $25,000 or more per year to the Rotary Peace Centers as a way of supporting the Rotary program that offers fellowships, all expenses paid, to, at that time, 100 recipients chosen by Rotarians and faculty and staff of those institutions designated as Rotary Peace Centers around the world. This coming year, with the addition of Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda, the number of fellowships awarded has risen from 100 to 130. 50 fellowships for the master's degree in peace and conflict resolution, and 80 certificate degrees are offered, 40 each at Chulalongkorn in Thailand and Makerere in Uganda. So when we began promoting the fact that our district had chosen to become a Peacebuilder district, some Rotarians posed the question, since we're now a Peacebuilder district, can we have Peacebuilder clubs? And we had not been posed with this question before, so we checked around. We talked to past district governors and directors and leadership up and down the lines of Rotary International, and found out that nobody had ever asked about Peacebuilder clubs before. So we were finally told by the Rotary leadership, go ahead and start Peacebuilder clubs if you want, and we'll let you know if you step on any toes or just overstep your bounds. So the first thing we needed to do was define what a Peacebuilder club would do, what would be the purpose. And after quite a bit of discussion and brainstorming, we figured, well, the first thing we wanted to really stress was the support of the Rotary Peace Centers. since that's what Peacebuilder districts were all about, although in a financial way. And I remember when I first talking to some past district governors from around the West Coast that we were going to start Peacebuilder clubs, their immediate response was, wow, you guys have clubs that are going to give $25,000 to the Rotary Peace Centers? And I had to say, no, not exactly. But we do want to support the Rotary Peace Centers. And so when we first set them up, one of the things, or two of the things that we wanted to do to support the Rotary Peace Centers was we gave the option of either asking each club to donate $350 to the Rotary Peace Centers when they became a Peacebuilder club. And the other option would be to identify and support and sponsor Peace Fellow applicants. And so after a lot of discussion and deliberation, we came up with this following criteria. First, form a peace committee of 2 or more members. 2, support the Rotary Peace Centers in one or both of the previously mentioned ways. 3, learn about Rotary's history of peace building. 4, teach your fellow Rotarians and then your local community about this history. And 5, do peace-related projects in your community and or partner with other organizations in your community in peace-related projects. And that was basically what we were asking of Peacebuilder clubs. So over the years and my visits around the district promoting Peacebuilder clubs, I mentioned the deep history of Rotary's peace involvement and the fact that Rotary's involvement in peace building goes back nearly as far as the inception of Rotary itself. As early as 1914, delegates at the Rotary Convention in Houston called for the convening of an international peace conference. Our founder, Paul Harris, was of course himself a deep believer in peace and spoke of this throughout his life in his travels around the world. At the 1921 convention in Edinburgh, Scotland, Rotarians agreed to incorporate peacemaking into Rotary's constitution and bylaws. In 1940, at the Rotary International Convention in Havana, Cuba, the boilerplate was written for the International Declaration of Human Rights, when Rotarians adopted a resolution calling for freedom, justice, truth, sanctity of the pledged word, and respect for human rights, which of course was adopted by UNESCO in 1948. And Rotarians from the Rotary Clubs of London and San Francisco were instrumental in the formation of the United Nations. And in 1945, 49 Rotary members served in 29 delegations to the United Nations Charter Conference. And I see Barbara is smiling. Her husband spent many years working with the United Nations. So I guess I got that right. So inevitably, after every meeting, when I mentioned items related to Rotary's history of peace building, Rotarians would come up to me and following the meeting, and they would say, I had no idea that Rotary had such a history and has been so involved over the years in the field of peace. We began with 9 Peacebuilder clubs in 2011, and we agreed to have quarterly meetings to share what we were doing insofar as identifying Peace Fellow candidates, and a number of applicants immediately grew. From 2002 to 2010, our district successfully sponsored 4 Peace Fellows. From 2011 to 2020, we were awarded, or our district Peace Fellow applicants received 20 Peace Fellowships. And about 95% of these recipients were sponsored by Peacebuilder clubs. The interest among Rotary clubs in our district has grown steadily over the years, and we've added anywhere from 2 to 5 new Peacebuilder clubs per year. Currently, our district of 70 Rotary clubs is proud to have 36 Peacebuilder clubs, 1 Rotaract Peacebuilder clubs, 2 Interact Peacebuilder clubs, and 33 Rotary Peacebuilder clubs. And our immediate plans, once the pandemic diminishes, are to greatly grow both our Rotaract and Interact Peacebuilder clubs. So some of the accomplishments and programs that our Peacebuilder clubs have been involved with and continue to be are peace conferences and peace symposiums, some sponsored by individual clubs, some sponsored by multiple Peacebuilder clubs in a particular region. Participation in what's known as, was originally known as the Cyprus Friendship Program, a program developed to ease tensions, restore a semblance of trust among the Turkish-speaking and Greek-speaking Cypriots living on the island of Cyprus. And this includes hosting of a pair of Cypriot teams from both sides of the island for a month, usually the month of July, in Rotarian homes where the teams learn to understand each other's history and create bonds of friendship where previously there was a mistrust and tremendous animosity. And then they return to Cyprus, and through their schools and through the media, they talk about what they have learned and are working to help reunite this very divided community right now. Peace Village, a program which actually began in District 5110. Its roots are in Lincoln City, as a 5-day summer camp for students aged 6 to 13 years old. The idea behind it is the younger you're able to instill values relating to trust, nonviolent problem solving, anti-bullying, and the like, the better the chances that these concepts will have a long-lasting impact. Peace Village, a program like the Cyprus Friendship Program, has its roots not in Rotary, but it is a program that Rotary, with its abundance of resources, can really take to another level. Peace Villages usually consist of 25 to 75 students, ideally made up of students, maybe 50% seen as prospective leaders, and 50% seen as potential challenges. Program has met with great success in areas like Newburgh, McMinnville, Sherwood, Beaverton, Forest Grove, and in 2018 we took it internationally. The sign behind me talks about a Rotary Water and Sanitation Peace Conference in Beirut, Lebanon, and I had the chance to travel there with a member of a Rotary Club. His wife was born in Beirut. He was born in Baghdad. We went to this conference, and afterwards we went around the country for about 5 days visiting Rotary Clubs and just asking about possible peace projects. And one of the clubs we met in Tripoli, Lebanon, one of the members of the club said, "We have a terrible problem with bullying in schools." So I mentioned the Peace Village program, and a couple of weeks after I returned home, I received an email from the president of that Rotary Club asking if we would help them set up a Peace Village, which came to fruition in February of 2018. Of course, there's been a lot of unrest in Lebanon, but they hope, once things settle down, to continue Peace Villages sponsored by Rotarians throughout the country. Peace Poles Project, which Al Girbitz will talk about. I believe he has joined us.
I have.
Okay. Hello, Al. So this started in 2017. Actually, I'll tell the story, but one of a meeting with the chief of police of Portland actually supported the idea of peace poles, and it grew from there. Our district has planted over 300 peace poles to date. Of course, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of peace poles around the world. And let's see, peace conferences. And also in 2016, the Peacebuilder Clubs program went beyond the confines of District 5100. In October of 2016, I was invited to Virginia. The district governor there, who was a Rotary Foundation chair of that district, invited me to come and talk about Peacebuilder Clubs and said they were going to launch Peacebuilder Clubs that fall. So District 7610 in Northern Virginia in the Washington, D.C. area initiated Peacebuilder clubs in 2016. And then shortly thereafter, District 5240 on the Central California coast, the Santa Barbara area, Montecito, whatnot, they started Peacebuilder clubs, and they currently have 24 Peacebuilder clubs in District 5240. Another big project which Peacebuilder clubs have really been able to come to the forefront is Peace Area of Focus Global Grants. In 2018, the Rotary Club of Portland sponsored a peace symposium with leaders in Colombia. Came together in Bogota. And this global grant was sponsored by Rotary clubs in Colombia and in District 5100. And we were struggling towards the end, and actually the Rotary District 7610 in Virginia put us over the top with 5 of their Rotary clubs participating in the global grant. And just this year, we just received final funding for a Violence Against Women Advocates in Nepal global grant, written by a Rotary Peace Fellow. And this was funded not only by Rotary clubs in District 5100, but Rotary clubs, Peacebuilder clubs in Arizona and Winnipeg and Beverly Hills, California, and Seattle. So Peacebuilder clubs, we've shown that they can work together across district borders, across continents, and work for global grants, which are so important to the Rotary Foundation and the work it does. So following the 2018 Rotary Convention in Toronto, the Rotarian Action Group for Peace rolled out their Peacebuilder Clubs program, both across the United States as well as internationally. And currently there are Peacebuilder clubs in England, Wales, Germany, Serbia, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Niger, Egypt, Canada, Australia, and many, many other countries. And this program continues to grow. And currently there are over 200 Peacebuilder clubs worldwide. And we would really love it if your club should discuss this and possibly decide to join our family of Peacebuilder clubs. And now I'd like to turn it over to my mentor and Peacebuilder extraordinaire, Alex Jubitz from the Rotary Club of Portland.
Thank you, Michael, and for being on time and covering such a wide swath of peace, and David and Irene for the invitation. They say never start a talk by apologizing, but being a Rotarian that tries to live by the 4-way test, the truth is I spaced out this morning. And had I not had email conversation with David, I probably wouldn't be here. I totally forgot to look at my calendar, but I'm delighted for this invitation. Delighted to have an opportunity to support Mike Caruso, who is a real leader in peace his whole life. I don't know, I wasn't here for the introduction, but from a very early age, Mike Caruso has been promoting peaceful solutions to conflict. And as a solid Rotarian and district governor in 2012, he served his term as DG, which I'm pretty sure was in his introduction. And since then, he's been a real leader on some novel concepts. Also like to tip the hat to my colleague, Dennis Wong from Connecticut, who in the same year, 2012, phoned me and said, I read an article about your support of the peace centers in the Rotarian magazine. Have you ever thought about starting a RAG? And I said, what's a RAG? And Dennis told me, I said, sounds like a good idea, let's do it. So Dennis, it's wonderful to see you this morning. Yeah, peace, man. Yeah, a little Hawaii, yeah, right. He's from Hawaii, lives in Connecticut, great peace builder, great idea man, and great Rotarian. And whenever I would go east to see my youngest daughter, I would stop by in Connecticut and see Dennis. And one time he took me up to, he said, listen, I got to go up to up the Hudson Valley to forget the town, but pick up a peace pole. You want to come? And so I said, yeah, let's do it. So he introduced me to peace poles. And what I would like to show you, if I can command the screen, I'm going to share screen now. Hopefully this will work. Oh, you just, the host disabled screen sharing. David, can you fix that? You can't. Okay, well.
Try now. I think you might be able to.
Try it
Make
again.
you a co-host.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I can do it now. Okay, so let's see. I've got to pick the screen I want to share. Let's see. Mike mentioned peace polls, and I'm talking about peace polls. So let's share that one. And it's this one right here. Okay, can you see that? You may have to get up close. But this is our region of Northern Oregon and our district. And can you all see that, those dots?
Yes.
Okay. A lot of this Mike Caruso had to do with, especially down in this cluster in Newburgh, 50 peace polls in that community. We've got over 200 in the region. And all that started with my good buddy, Dennis Wong. And if I roll this backwards some and we see where other peace polls are around the world, there are far more peace polls that are on this map because we just got into this idea late. And so these are ones that are inspired by Rotarians that we're aware of. But you can see they're around, actually there's some in, thanks to the Beaverton Club, there's some in Europe, Eastern Europe. So, so that's the story about how I got involved in peace polls, and my foundation supports Rotary Clubs and the Rotarian Action Group for Peace for planting peace polls. So if it's a very good project for low-hanging fruit type project for Peacebuilder clubs in your community. Particularly because it's good for many reasons. It is a permanent symbol of peace in your community, which is the end result. But you also go out and you talk to the officials, the government officials, the faith officials, and school officials, and you plant these typically in their front yards and also in business front yards. So it's a wonderful activity for Rotarians. We found it to be very satisfying for everybody involved. Mike mentioned Peacebuilder clubs. Let me find that screen. Here's a Peacebuilder club map that these are around the world. You can see them from Hawaii to Australia. And there's over 200 here. This idea again started with Mike Caruso, and it's taken off. Rotarians love to have to become a Peacebuilder club. It's quite easy. It simply requires a committee within your club. We recommend the use of the term Peacebuilder versus peace because the term has more action implied in it. And so in America, that yellow circle, I'd have to count them up, but you'll see a lot here, and particularly in our district. I'm hoping you can see this as I scroll through this. But Mike mentioned a cluster in California. We have 35 in our district, and so these are represented as I zoom in. So these resources are available on the Action Group for Peace website. I want to show you one more. This is our original map. We've felt early on in 2012 that having a visual understanding of the human resource, of peace-interested resource in the world would be very, very helpful. So we created this map. I've checked down here Rotary Peace Fellows. So here's where Rotary Peace Fellows were at the time the map was created. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to keep it up as we would like because of privacy rules have come down. But if you want to, if I unclick this Rotary Peace Fellow, you can see all the Peace Fellows all over the world. They're all over. If I unclick that, you'll see this reform into a different kind of map. And the blue the blue part of these circles are Rotary clubs. So wherever you go, you can see that where a Rotary Club is and where a Peace Fellow is, and often they're in proximity. You can see where we have some Rotaractors. We can see where our RAG members are. Our members are very, very important. So these members can be employed to start a project with a Rotary Club, Peacebuilder Club.
Al,
So yeah.
excuse me, just in terms of timing, perhaps we should open to questions and discussion.
Okay, well, I'm done anyway, and I'm happy to take questions. And Mike is my leader, my mentor, my colleague. And once again, I apologize for coming in a bit late.
Kat, can you guide the conversation or questions?
I sure can. And
Thank you.
I think first, if you don't mind, Al, stopping your screen share so that it makes it so that I can see everybody better here. Okay, wonderful. It looks like Bob Hilton has a question. Go ahead, Bob.
If I could talk, there I go, there I go. Yes, I'm interested to what degree you coordinate activities with other organizations that have a long history and substantial assets encouraging peace, such as the Carnegie Endowment.
You're asking Al or Mike?
Gal, you can answer that.
Yeah.
Whoever has something to respond to.
Right. Also in 2012 was kind of a keynote year. It was also when Sakuji Tanaka was president of Rotary International, Japanese, and his theme was peace through service. But also in 2012, we started the War Prevention Initiative, which is a project of my foundation. It's led by Dr. Patrick Hiller because I wanted science-based peace building. And we have, as a foundation, the Jubitz Family Foundation, we are a member of the Peace and Security Funders Group, which is based back east. Patrick also, and he's very active in that. We're active in the Peacebuilders Alliance. We're active in the International Peace Research Organization. So we are very well connected to many international peace I say peace science, sort of an umbrella statement, but peace research, peace practice organizations. And even though that's not officially a RAG membership, we share office space and we're very collegial in sharing information and contacts. So we can put you together with the right people through our other organization. Hope that answered the call, Hilton, or the question, Hilton. Was that helpful? Thumbs up, okay.
All right. Does anyone else have a question? I'm just gonna see if anyone is raising their
Betsy,
hand.
oh, my firstborn's name, Betsy.
Betsy,
love that name.
I'm sorry if this is a dumb question, but what's a RAG?
Oh, sorry, Rotarian Action Group.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Isn't it terrible how we get shorthand? Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, see, Rotarian Action Groups were started about 2012. Dennis, what was your memory? They were going a little bit before that, maybe 2008.
Yes, actually, it's pretty good. Rotarian Action Groups, there's about 20 of them. And if you've got a special interest in different areas, be it environment, be it water, be it, I think there's polio survivors. So there's a number of things that we have a special interest. It's an ability to meet with like-minded people. And also one of the things that I'm involved in, which is really, an offshoot of this Rotarian Action Group for Peace or whatever, is that Rotarians are getting together more and more in ad hoc situations to be relevant and timely. And I'm a member of a Rotarians for Nuclear Ban. And so that's one of the things, an area of interest. Also, what's come up in the last couple of weeks is Rotarians to end racism. So there's certain things that if there's interest in what's timely and things like this, there's areas to go to, and that's where I'm kind of like putting my efforts into what's timely and relevant and can make a difference in the sense of what's going on now. And so these are kind of ad hoc, but getting more organized now. And like the Rotarians for nuclear ban, we're a little more organized, and we've got over 300 people involved with a subscribers list and things like this. We're looking to expand, and we got some action. So if anybody's interested in those two areas, let me know. Give me a shout, give me a call, and I thank David Wick for inviting me. As I said, I'm on the East Coast, so I got a chance to see how the West Coast lives, and so it's terrific. And as Al said, I was born and raised in Hawaii, so I know there's a lot of Hawaii guys living in Oregon, and I know it's a great place. So it's nice to be with y'all, and I think this is one of the strengths about Rotary too, is the fact that it's this idea of connecting with people, and so it's terrific. So aloha and thank you.
Thanks, Dennis. It looks like Barbara had something that she wanted to add.
Thank you. I'm a newly elected board member of the Rotary Action Group for World Peace. I always say world peace because I believe in that. But the Rotary Action Group for Peace is a membership organization, and you can join us for $50 a year. And it's an amazing network of people in Rotary clubs around the world who really believe that peace is possible. But together we have more of a power base. And I want to thank Al Jubitz and Dennis. They are just amazing people. And the reason I say that is because they always are there when we need something. Peace begins with each of us and starts with the conversation. And that conversation is key. And when you're with somebody who may not be on the same political side that you are, it's really a time for you to practice that peace philosophy that we all carry with us. That peace begins with the conversation. And sometimes you have to use the old stop sign. We have found you just have to say, stop. I need more information. But anyway, I wanted to share one more thing. I noticed that I was mentioned with my late husband, Dr. Robert Mueller. He was known as the Prophet of Hope at the United Nations after 40 years of service. And we started in Costa Rica, the University for Peace, and in the little town of Ciudad Colón. And the people who are there often have peace fellows joining us. And it's an exciting time to have a peace fellow when you're on your campus, because it's like a vibration. Peace is like a vibration. As you practice peace, you'll notice more people around you becoming peace. And then I have one last little note, and that's because Dennis Wong, every time I look at him, I think of the United Nations. My late husband was an intern at the war-torn factory because they didn't even have a UN building. And he was 20 years older. And when I met him at a conference on peace, I thought, holy cow, he's 20 years older. Why don't you just go do something else, Barbara? But we got married and spent 17 years working for peace. And I loved him to this day. But long story short, this is the 75th anniversary of the United Nations. And when my husband was an intern, the delegate said, what are you doing here, young man? And he said, I'm here to work for peace. And he said, why? That's wonderful. But the UN's only going to last 5 years. And so I get chills when I say this. The UN is 75 years of a global voice. Get that. Isn't that beautiful? And Rotary, as I heard today, I didn't realize it was that many delegates at the signing of the charter. 49 Rotarians at the signing of the charter. We should all take a bow because we have kept Rotary alive, and we have status. We have permanent status at the United Nations. So why am I proud to be a Rotarian? Well, maybe it's because we do so much and we make a difference. Thank you, President, for letting me talk for 3 or 4 minutes. Appreciate it.
Just let you know that Chris Chambers is interested in pursuing the conversation about the possibility of becoming a Peacebuilder club, because there's specific things you can do locally also. So thank you all very much.
Yeah, the application is on the Rotarian Action Group for Peace.org website. It's very simple. Please join the growing number of Rotarians that are organizing because of their interest in peace. A friend of mine said that what we do is mainstream peace. We're mainstreaming peace within Rotary, and that takes everyone's action and everyone's participation. And it's been a joyride, really, for the last 8 years. I'm so grateful to Dennis and Mike for doing their piece of peace. It keeps me going.
Super. Well, thank you guys so much for your presentation. We're definitely going to be looking that over and talking about the application amongst the clubs. So we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And we're going to sign out now, but we will see you next week. Thanks again.